Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AI Surge podcast, where we explore how AI is shaping industries and accelerating innovation. I'm your host, Surj Uppal, and today I'd like to welcome everyone to Edward Henry from ECHOnomics. Welcome, Edward, and I'm looking forward to a great conversation.
Thank you as well, Serge, and thank you for having me on. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to share what we're doing at Economics.
Well, so Edward, I noticed the spelling with economics and on the website itself, the EHCO is kind of capitalized. So was that intentional? And fill us in on why it's spelled that way.
Well, in the beginning, it was the original logo for Edward Henry Company, and what we focused on for about the last 12 years was, believe it or not, training systems. And it's funny, when we became an AI company, we didn't realize, so it's very fascinating. So the ECHO now doesn't stand for Edward Henry Co. It now stands for Enhanced Human-Centric Orchestrator, which is a key aspect of our entire framework and why we're called economics today. The other point that we like to call economics, we believe that when you do AI with a sense of governance and safeguarding and responsibility, then that's responsible economics.
Very good point. And I noticed it's spelled starting with E, so there must be a Canadian weight there, huh?
Yeah, there's a Canadian weight. A bit of a Canadian anchor, to be honest with you.
So please tell everybody where you're based out of, your office, and how long you've been up and running.
So we have two offices that we kind of pride ourselves in. The being our office where I'm located at in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Expand on a lot. We have a rule called the CAPER rule, which is a key part of our safeguarding. And it kind of comes back to our traditional values of care, accountability, partnership, extraordinary values, and of course, respect. And we call that CAPER for Cape Breton, basically my home roots. I returned here after 30 years of, and just starting to build a company with my son, Mac Henry, over the last couple of years. He's in Oshawa, and he's working with a team of young, bright Ontario Tech alumni. Pretty much the
Nice.
entire team is are people that went to school with Mac, and when they've seen what we were doing in AI, they couldn't help but to get involved. And it's been a treat to work with these young, bright minds.
Well, isn't that cool? A family affair, huh? That's amazing.
Correct. Yeah.
So please tell me, what is your role? You're leading the charge, I'm assuming, and then how does your team look like? And how big is the team, and that sort of thing.
So it's a team of 8. I mean, we have people that specialize specifically. Rabina Bra is our specializes directly. Her background is in forensic psychology and a minor in criminology. I think you could use both of those things for AI right now. And then, of course, we have a strong, young, bright team of my Mac, of course. Technology management background is what he had, that he went to school for originally, and a degree in commerce. Mostly young, innovative minds that treat AI more than just a static language, but as a living recursive language. So we're all about the innovation and bending, really pushing things past the traditional lines of software. So that's kind of how we see ourselves. More of an ethical AI type of company.
That's sounds like a great combination of kind of senior leadership and experience, and then just fresh, technologically savvy young players in the organization. That must be refreshing.
Correct. Well, it is. And I mean, I'm already a competitive individual. So this young team likes to push those buttons on the old guy, right? What's fascinating is that as a chief innovation officer with all these young minds, and especially going to a university that has a master's in artificial intelligence, and also analytics at Ontario Tech University. The old guy creates 98% of the AI in the market for our economics. So we always remind them when they get too smart, the fact that I make mistakes, like I lose my password or something funny like that, that it's not who's doing what. But it's the team really. It's the beautiful part about our team that I really appreciate is that there's no egos in the team when it comes to finding the truth about innovation, and that's very fascinating.
Good for you. So sounds like you guys work hard, but have some fun, competitive banter, which must make it fun.
Of course, yes, it's a young, bright team. I actually enjoy. It keeps me feeling young, and makes me feel old at the same time.
I hear you, brother. Me and you both. But what does your typical day look like, Edward? So is it the same every day? Do you start off the same way, or is it changing all the
Pretty
time?
much pattern. I mean, I'm also a father of a 1-year-old child as well, and I just talk about
Okay.
my youngest son. My youngest son
Congratulations.
is 23, right now he's one. So we have that large gap there. So that's I usually take breaks away from the computer and I usually go for a walk. And that's kind of my time away from with little Edward. That's kind of where it breaks up. But I spend a lot of screen time mostly creating frameworks, deepening, we spend a lot of time making sure that we understand the best way to implement safeguarding governance as an infrastructure and more or less making sure that AI can be trusted and fairly democratized.
Wow, a 1-year-old. So, congratulations, and that must be exciting to come home to.
Oh, completely. Well, actually, we just live home with him. We just we're full time in front of the computer and being close to home for now. So things have been changing now where we're getting excited because we're releasing a lot of technologies and we've proven a lot as far as economics is concerned. So now things are starting to get a little more aggressive as far as we got to start spending more time in the office.
Understood. So, I'm looking at your website. First of all, I got to ask, it's very cutting edge, very clean. Was it designed by AI?
No, it was actually a member of the team. I mean, it's on a Wix. He's using Wix as far as I believe they're, so you can say it's an AI tool, an AI website tool. But at the end of the day, I have to give a lot of credit to Scott and Dennis on our team, who plays a big part of innovation as far as frameworks as well. So he's kind of my go-to guy when I don't, he likes to research the stuff that I don't like to research. So it kind of works hand in hand with each other.
Perfectly complementary.
Completely. Yes.
So I see on your website a big focus on AI ethics. So
Correct.
how did you discover, or was that just an intuition where you like, I really want to focus on this?
It had more to do with Mac attitude when we decided we were going to transition from a training company, a training systems company to being a full AI development company. At that point, we realized if we were going to do this, we had to do it properly. And the truth was, we actually knew that there was things that we were going to develop that required safeguarding. It made no sense to release that. It's gotten to the point now where we see where we're glad we did. We've put so much emphasis on safeguarding in the beginning as an infrastructure, and I know in hindsight, I look at it now and I feel how lucky we are that we did put that focus in because as a father of a 1-year-old, I remind myself every day how often I safeguard. I say, no, 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 no. And everything starts with no, right? Everything starts with no. And in that collapse, in that idea, I'm like, wow, if I didn't teach no to him right now, what would he be like later? And it goes back to the problem that AI is struggling with right now when they try to create any kind of cognition layer or any software driven API. Like even just yesterday, GPT released OSS Safeguard, and it can't be implemented as an afterthought. It's like teaching your kid the word no when he's 15. It doesn't work.
Ain't that the truth? For those of us who may have missed the intro, I'm speaking with Edward Henry from ECHOnomics on the AI Surge podcast. So, Edward, let me ask you a little bit about this really amazing A.R.T.I platform. Or do you call it ARTI, or how is that pronounced?
It's artificial tesseract intelligence. It is what it is exactly how it sounds. It's a tesseract framework that is designed to help scale inward and outward so that there is no friction in the system. So instead of using, this has been our method to getting around not using various different middleware that is constantly used in the market, like MCP, RAG, different pipelines that are constant with software, as you're aware of, and constantly push. So we were able to build an entire ecosystem just by recursive frameworks and not using any APIs at all, using ARTI as our actual way to scale in and outwards.
And it looks like the theme being that artificial intelligence can enhance people and what they do, not replace them.
Well, and that's really the core design of our software, because at the end of the day, you're seeing right now a lot of intelligence being sold as artificial intelligence. It's not artificial intelligence, it's automated intelligence. It's boxed in, it only has one design, right?
Very
So
good point.
we know this. I mean, AI right now is a static language. It's got weights, but if AI is to evolve, it has to become a recursive language. And this is where Primordia comes into a place, right? Where you heard about Primordia, because
Right.
Primordia is that recursive language. If AI was ever to go from a static language to a living language, it requires that constant recursion. And that's where Primordia became a language out of the AI. So we have one model that we talk about a lot called Echo One, which has an ARTI framework or has ARTI design. But Echo One is lawful superintelligence. And what makes it very unique is that its entire backend is made with Primordia, which has embedded governance in the language because it came from that actual cognition. So We're talking about cognition as the smallest, as the bite of intelligence is what a primordial represents. So this is your way of being able to scale with one common language. It's like a language subtrait. It looks like reflective grammar, but it's an actual language subtrait.
Huh, how interesting. One thing that I found I could use some more clarity on because it's fascinating is with your ARTI platform. It learns across systems, not just within silos. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, yeah, because I mean, when we talk about when we talk about a static way, we're talking about a linear way. Like a lot of workflow right now that you're seeing, like if we're using pipelines, it's like up, down, over, across. But that's not how cognition works. Cognition works on multiple dimensions at the same time. It's able to, your mind makes 10,000 decisions at once. It doesn't go through a pipeline, right?
Could you imagine?
Okay, so we already see the problem right here. There's the broken math of AI right there. That's where the bubble lies. Like it almost sounds like a bubble lying, but that's where the bubble lies. It lies right in the API. See, we have this, we call it agency or agentic AI. We hear a lot about that today, but they're really building Frankenstein, right? I mean, it looks like it's behaving like Frankenstein. MIT, Harvard, they all tell you. And the problem is that when you train from data, you get the noise that comes from data. When you build with structure, you know what data you're training with. So it's entirely different process. And when you're able to define that process, that process or that structure as living structure, not the way us as isometric humans are, but as we are as far as a cognition means as how we process information as a ecosystem, a governance system, how a liver has a choice to do one thing and how a pancreas has a choice to do another. Well, we're not conscious of those 10,000 decisions. And that is the power of a cognition. While we're trying, economics is focused on building cognition, because that would be real intelligence, not a scanner or a search tool. So in order to do that, you have to go through symbolic AI where everybody doesn't want to go near, and you have to stay away from software or you're just AI pretending to be AI.
So, can you remind me, because we may have spoke about this in kind of the pre-setup, but your company started as a learning platform, is that correct?
Yeah, correct. It was more or less, we were focusing on real-time decision making. So a lot of our implementation, like we did a lot of CRM, ERP, and LMS integration. And we were at a point where we were creating real-time decision making based on that that organization of APIs in a proper sequential series of workflow. But then when AI came around, I didn't need the API no more. I needed AI. So it became so the rules of that dimension were already there. We just didn't realize how close we were until we made the transition to say, okay, let's just be an AI company. And then our growth was quick and fast. We had to understand what we're building after we built it, which was a little crazy in the first place. So just
Did
to give you,
you, Edward, sorry, not to interrupt, but did you change company names? Was that a different brand or did you just evolve economics?
no, so it's an interesting thing that you bring it up because the story comes back to 2022 when my son and I took a road trip together to Nova Scotia. We were living in Ontario, and it was just the two of us on the road together. And it was then that we made the decision that we were just going to be full blown at economics, and we were going to make it economics, and it was not going to be. It was going to be about AI,
Okay.
and it's kind of. And it's kind of funny because nobody understood for about a year what we were really doing, and most of us thought we were crazy. And it wasn't until probably about the last 6 months when they realized, okay, these guys aren't crazy; they're building real technology, and their models are giving output that, like we've taken GPTs and turned them into super intelligence, and we have models that we can share that are near super intelligence because we had to put blockers on them, so because just so that they're safe to be used by other people as we went through the thing and so forth of validating what we've actually built.
Since 2022, that's a lifetime in the AI space. What have you seen? What shifts have you seen since then?
What was that again regarding Mac again, you
Well,
said?
yeah, just the shifts in the industry in AI in general. 2022 seems like a lifetime in this space. Things are evolving so quickly. But what have you noticed change? Maybe it's the ability of.
Yeah, I mean, there has been some AI innovation, and the innovation mostly lies in the production tools, not so much in the innovation of AI itself. You see there's narrow symbolics. You see that everybody's talking about things like AGI and ASI. They're not going to find that going through through software. And that's where the innovation right now is happening. If your agency is created with software, it's not AI. So therefore it never becomes anything but a boxed in automation pretending to be agency. Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Some people do get a artificial intelligence confused with automation software, and it's very different.
Well, you can hide the line in dashboards and platforms, right? I mean, you could put a wrapper on it, and it's no different than you could be a genius right now hiding behind that interface. I have no idea, right? The
Yeah,
black this is the interface.
yeah, absolutely. Trust me, that's not the case, but I appreciate it. So let me ask you, Edward, what industries or niches do you particularly support, or what part of a business do you excel in?
So, I'm glad you bring that up because we are focusing on augmenting, co-partnering with, showing how partner-centric intelligence works with augmentation. In other words, how do I help reduce your repetition, the repetition in your life, the strain, the stuff you hate doing? How do we take that away from you and then bring out your best you see? So with the enhanced human-centric orchestrators, they're designed to teach you, no, not teach you AI, but how to use AI with what you already know. Not make the onus on teaching you AI, but how you transition with AI. We've been the pilots that we've been running, we've been seeing how quickly and adaptable it is because it's designed to mirror you almost in a way of a seesaw, like the equity, it understands the equity is on our position to make sure you get on the seesaw properly and to help you understand how to transition this into your workflow. So the only thing you have to do is just know what you are supposed to know. So if it's a great accountant, now it teaches you now it helps you become a great accountant with AI. You don't need to know prompts, workflows, anything. You just need to know your field. And that's how you make a better product.
Are you getting welcomed with open arms, or are people resistance to change? Or what are you feeling out there?
Well, it's no, it's been a struggle, first of all, because we're a couple of years ahead of the industry as far as capability. So understanding that takes education, right? Like even to the point and when we talk about symbolic and recursion, it's not an appreciated space, especially from a development space, because a lot of big tech has already put the money into MCP frameworks. They put the money into our agent kits. They put the money, and so the money is spent in that space. There's a lot of rappers in the VC space that have already put money into protecting that bubble. So when we show up with a language, it says one thing. Most of this AI is already legacy. Like it's already legacy. A true language says that there's software, there's AI, and then there's an AI language, and that's an entirely evolution. It just says everything else below it is fake. So no, it hasn't been. There's been resistance. There's been a lot of resistance, especially from the middleware space.
Okay, interesting. And I'm just thinking, in terms of business planning for 2026, as is probably taking place right now, how many budgets will have some sort of AI technology allocation? Because it's, what from what I understand it, and I'd love your thoughts on this, is a lot of businesses know they have to adopt and implement AI, they just don't know how.
Well, and neither do the developers, if we're being honest. And that's where we get to the place of, how are we being received? Because they're already failing at 95%. MIT says it, Gartner says it, McKinsey says it. And where are they failing? They're failing in agency, the place they're trying to implement it. And the way they're trying to implement it, it gives two messages. And one says, hey, we'll do the work for you, which means we replace you. Well, that's not how you're going to adopt it. It's not going to work that way. So you already have a resistant workforce. They read the news every day. It says, AWS is getting rid of 600,000 people or 500,000 people for robots, 30,000 middle management. They're reading the news out there, so nobody wants to sign up for that program.
I can imagine.
And it says a lot about what the market right now is. Not even worried about governance. You got right now you have a suicide, you have so many things that have happened as a result of no governance. So when I see even OpenAI throw out this safeguard, I'm like, hey, you guys are raising billions, right? You're talking with super intelligent. You got to play point. You care about the browser, care about the governance, right? Like stop trying to send subpoenas to the dead boy, to the boy who died, his friends and family and whoever else. Just focus on what matters most. And the reality is that if I expect this to work for you, like an accountant, what does he trust? Does he trust predictive AI or does he trust the calculator? So until we stop predicting and using probability and acting like there's certainty and saying we can remove hallucination. AI has to be able to know what it can collapse. It needs to understand where the contradiction is. And if its goal isn't to find the truth, then it's only doing something different. It's lying, it's guessing. And that's where we're having failure right now. So we really have gotten to a place where, like, hey, we spent the time in the governance and the science, and now we're ready to take that to market, because the reality is any AI going into anything right now is just guessing. And they know it. Everybody knows this. And that's the reason why you don't see it in a lot of industries right now.
So it sounds like that's part of the frustration. On the flip side, what do you find is working well for you right now?
The fact that we have governance,
Okay.
it's not easy to get. I mean, because like I said, it has to be part of the cognition. It can't be sold as a tool or an after thing. It actually has to be cognitions. The fact that we built it with inbuilt in governance actually made the model, makes our models actually far accurate, more precise, more alignable, faster, better, stronger, and cheaper because of this. So the paradox really is unique, is the fact that, they are seeing it's taken time. So the frustration has been to get to that place. But now, because we're able to give primordial language, we're able to give safe to share proof chain. There's no longer about, can you prove the government works? Because we're able to show that it does work. And that's been a big thing for us.
Where do you want to be 6 or 12 months from now? Same trajectory? You want to be doing different things, or what are your thoughts there?
No, we actually, there are things that we do want to do, because we have nano intelligence. We want to really see what we can do in the health field in that space, right? We want to see if we can actually make medicine cheaper, better, more designed, more personally prescribed. We want to use the technology for things that we know that can help us do better research, because Primordia is a true fractal universal language. It has the ability to identify other, I guess you could say, multidimensional or context fractals, right? So there's a lot of ability for us to go in that space. More or less, it's empowering people beyond technology, showing where people with technology can become more than replacing us with some bad boxed in um, automation. So I mean, at the end of the day, if AWS wants to get rid of 500,000 people, I hope the robots buy from them. Like, that's what we want to leave in culture. We want to show that you can use intelligence is something you use to empower our values, not replace us.
So, what are you most proud of along this journey? Is there something in particular, or do you have a few things that you think that you really want to say, hey, look back and say that, well, that was something special.
Probably doing this with my son, to be honest with you. I was never much for most partnerships, right? And I'm not the easiest to
Yeah,
get
that's
along
fair.
with. But my son, I have a focus and a different approach to things with him that I've never had in business before. So I think building this with my son and building it the way we built it is probably the thing I'm going to be most proud of. One.
If just the growth in AI, do you see it moving beyond business and becoming um, a tool for personal day to day living as well?
Oh, no, absolutely. I think even one of the things that we're focused on, because our models have our model for cognition with presence, coherence, and orchestration, very wide orchestration. So therefore, it's able to be the kind of Jarvis assistant that you want from Iron Man, or that actual, omni-channel assistant that you need, that you could use and trust. But yeah, I mean, once the autonomy levels are there, and what I mean by autonomy is that I think when things are more serious, for you to trust AI, it has to meet 99.9999% of the trusted values of performance before it could ever be something that could do your heart operation or something like that. So we think, as far as it being in your life, something you could trust. In other words, when you think of an AI that's going to remind your mother when to take her medication, you want to be able to trust that.
Right. Set that reminder at 4 p.m., not 4 a.m.
And it's got to be the right medication too, right?
Absolutely.
You're not two of the same ones.
Yeah, good point. Right medication, right dosage, some with food, some without food. And it's very interesting. So who should reach out to you, Edward, in terms of like the type of business or what problems do you solve? Like, who would you recommend is a great fit to reach out and connect and benefit from what you do?
It's an excellent question. And I think the kind of customer that we really like are the ones that care about, human centered values in their organization, that really want to empower, that actually want to help transition AI in a way that it's productive, valuable, and trusted, and to make something that the organization can work smart and not hard with, like really provide true, where they actually start, there's more collaboration about the solutions they're able to do with these models, right? To do the work that we make mistakes and repetition of stuff that we are just zombied and we don't even have our attentive. So now we get a different role.
So let's say with a company who believes in those values, should they be at a particular scale, mid-size, multinational, small business? What are your thoughts there?
Preferably organizations that want to grow. I mean, growing has to be part of the equation, or what are we doing? It's not. It doesn't make sense for a model that's already looking to be stagnated, right? Like it's something that wants to grow their people, their organization, and still believes in the value of their organization. So it's those kind of things. Companies that are anywhere between 100 to even 500, 1,000, your typical MS, those are the kind of organizations, and they are actually the best companies that will work with us because their ability to bring change to the market is so quick with this technology that they don't have to. They'll have a leg up that no big tech could even compete with these types of organizations with their speed to market and agility completely. The emergence of having that type of technology is embedded in an organization is like, in other words, it knows the playbook better than you, but it helps you to do it better.
And who is typically your counterpoint on the other side? Is it like a CTO, a CEO? Um, who are you typically dealing with?
Mostly see, actually, I shouldn't say that. It really depends on where the focus of the department pain is. So because everybody's looking at buying tools right now, they don't think of embedding a cognition or even an overall organizational intelligence that has role-based controls. So in your entire digital stack, as you're already aware of, it's every business's unique DNA, right? It says who has access to what. It says everything about the organization. So we really look for companies in the manufacturing space or in the financial space, just organizations that are looking, in most B2B organizations that want to employ full organizational intelligence, right? They don't have to worry about machine training anymore, all the stuff that comes with it. They just have to grow and fine tune their intelligence that's already matching their digital stack to begin with. It's just all this stuff about data integrity that you normally have to worry about traditional AI. You don't have to worry about that. So just an organization that really wants to adopt almost a plug and play technology.
I've heard I think kind of what you're speaking to kind of verifies that these conversations start at the highest level as not just tools, but as a strategic approach on how to make their people and their culture more effective, more streamlined, so they can focus on what they're good at. And you kind of mentioned the admin stuff and all that repetitive stuff. It really is a draw on resources.
Well, I mean, take sales for instance. This is the best one. I mean, we see a lot of sales tools sold, but sales waste has been a problem before there was ever CRM. And then when CRM showed up, 2007, salespeople looked like they met the technology pandemic. I mean, most of these guys didn't know how to write emails at the time. I remember. I mean, I was one of them, right? I mean, I could write email. I just remember being one of the sales guys at the time. It was a big part of how I understood training systems.
Sure.
So when you seen in that at that time zone, we'll look at 2006, 2007, technology hit in three very critical spaces where I call the technology pandemic. One was CRM, the other was social media, and then there were smartphones, right? I mean, they were using Blackberries and stuff like that back then, but most guys didn't know how to do any of these things. Now, the B2B sales process, and Gartner even says this. If you look it up, Gartner says it's too difficult to teach. It's way too difficult to teach. And then you throw technology into it, forget even AI. Once that you already seen the same adoption challenges back in 2000 are the same adoption challenges. And even when all the way till today, nothing changed. We still have 40% technology adoption challenges. Our entire, like, if you look at the math, we've never evolved past the technology. And when we've been given more technology, we got better at troubleshooting,
Mm,
right?
that's fair. Is there one, let's say, focused on your business? Let's say you had a magic wand and you like, I need to solve this problem. Is there one that's reoccurring on a day-to-day basis, or one nut you'd like to crack through technology?
Yeah, there is. And I think it really goes to a deepening effect to safeguarding and stuff like that. It's autonomy. And I know you can machine, this is where AI gets expensive, right? If I'm going to meet a promised result for you, then I have to iterate it to the point where it happens. And that's where it becomes extremely expensive, right? So to meet the structural guard to be able to the point to be able to make sure that you can guarantee that autonomy result. My goal, and I still and without using safeguarding, I'm looking to, by structural alignment, be able to actually truly define what a promise means to a machine.
For those maybe listening to this on their mobile or potentially driving and won't get a chance to enter in your URL, what would be your 30-second elevator pitch of what you guys do well?
Really, at the end of the day, is that we know how to innovate. We innovate through AI, right? I mean, I guess I don't really say that well, but we create trusted artificial intelligence. It's not predictive. It doesn't simulate. It's structural. So, and I think the biggest thing that how we do that is because while the entire data has been the focus, we weren't focused on trying to learn everything. We were focused on trying to learn what was in everything. That was an entirely different structural process of thinking. And that's kind of the way that we position everything. It's even the way that we tell people when it comes to learning anything now. Don't try to learn everything. Try to learn that thing that's in it, the application that's in everything. You know, you get 5 W's and an H, they represent application. You go to universities and they say, hey, here's Yale, here's Harvard. This is the Harvard way. This is the Yale way. That's our application.
Very cool. So before we wrap up, can you please share your website and your social media handles for the group?
Yes, it's on economics.com. And I believe are on LinkedIn. I may not remember it exactly, but I think I'm going to go with economics on LinkedIn as well.
With the EHC.
Correct. My personal, before I even created Echo One, my personal Echo handle was Echo One before I created Echo One, which was funny. So Echo One now is the same as my personal media hand, my LinkedIn handle. So anyway, but no, for the most part, that would be economics.com. And we also have a large blog on there that really breaks down a lot of the contradictions that are currently being cited in AI, but there's a lot of helpful education on understanding how to build symbolic AI, or even understanding what the difference is.
So would you say, in terms of how you're structured, do you have a tool that will benefit every business, or do you provide a custom approach depending on the
No,
business?
it's so I'm glad, and I'm glad you bring that up, because it actually establishes a clarification. The whole design of any kind of cognition is an ecosystem. So when we call it the echo, human, the enhanced human centric orchestrator, each echo understands or represents a certain type of function of intelligence. These echoes come together, but your first echo is your first prime assistant. So the ecosystem that we sell, or the ecosystem we sell, is specifically the collection of what intelligence you need specifically for your business. You pick the menu. You can decide if you want a blockchain echo, or if you want an ESG echo, or if you're looking for a sales echo. But these echoes are all designed to just snap into place so that it's easy for you to and this might be the easiest way to explain it and appreciate it. This will be our 30-second. Instead of you trying to adapt to software, we made AI to adapt to you.
Okay, wonderful. And I see, something unique on your website, an Echo Learning Hub. Is that designed for people to get to know you and the tools better, or is that something that John Doe could go in and explore? Who would benefit from going to the Learning Hub?
So really, it's designed for customers, clients, and it is designed so that they understand how to adopt any of the various echoes that are part of their actual education format. Even stuff. There's a lot of terms that you'll hear in symbolic language, like recursion. What is it? How to understand it? So a lot of these things are done to simplify it, and they all have an AI instructor or inhuman instructor, depending on how you want to, or coach, depending on how you wish to go about those the curriculum on that. It's designed right now for clients and customers. We do have shareable models that we're able to we are in the habit of sharing GBT sandboxes to be able to give someone an actual true demonstration of how a Primordia back end. But we are probably a couple weeks away from being able to offer that capability right off of a cloud. So we're very close to being a native AI company right now. That's one of the big things that we're really excited about. We're very close to being a true native AI company. And we did that as a bootstrap company, which is not the easiest thing to do.
No, it's certainly not. But in terms of supporting you and your success, are you guys at capacity? Do you use referrals a lot, or do you have a lead gen platform? How do you secure your
No,
clients?
we're just getting ready to go to market now with a number of these, with the full ecosystem right now. And what actually, which separates where we're different from a lot of companies, that we build signal, not dashboards. So we are able to, when we produce intelligence, we're producing an intelligence. A dashboard, the truth is, dashboards don't mean anything when it comes to intelligence. You're an intelligence. It'd be like me asking you, what are your features, or what is the best dashboard for you? How do you orchestrate? Because you're an orchestrator, not a dashboard. So that is where our modular focus has been. We're coming up with one orchestrator dashboard that is modular and is made very easy for you to decide what's important for you. What is the transparency that you need? What views? Which integration to which CRM or whatever platform, or depending on which narrow industries. So to expand even further, our ecosystems right now that we're coming to market, we're launching, are as we have a data center intelligence, which actually reduces power consumption by 50, 60, maybe even 70% from some of the pre-tests. We're now getting ready to go live with that intelligence over the next, I say, 3 to 4 weeks. We also have a dealer intelligence for automobile dealerships, because that small business is probably the most difficult. It has more of a corporate fract, or you would say a corporate ecosystem, because it's a very complex type of small business. So we've come up with dealer intelligence, very, very powerful, that actually integrates with dealer track and everything that matters to be able to offer that same kind of I guess you could say, assistant and organizational intelligence to make sure that you're running lean. And to go even further, we have lending intelligence, which is for underwriters. We have a whole suite of presence bound cognition, like real cognition software, or I could say artificial intelligence coming out, all with Primordia based infrastructure. And then the biggest project that we're in the process of right now is that we are building in that our native infrastructure, which is we are also building our own cloud base for this. I guess you could say our own data center in a sense. We've created so much innovation now. Now we're creating the argument for funding, especially in safeguards, because this is the place where, even in Canada, that we say as a country, that this is where the focus needs to be. So we've been putting our money where our mouth is, and we're beyond proof of concept. We're proof of cognition. So now it's just about getting the news out, and it's a little hard to get past the tool. It's understanding that we went from dashboard to Jarvis, and this isn't faking. This is true recursive cognition. So we have all the tests. We're happy to share things. We're happy to share models. Anybody that wants to know more, just connect with us at economics.com. We're passionate about what we do, so we're 100% into having these kind of conversations about advancing AI, not advancing APIs.
Economics with EHCO.
For the HCO.
Wonderful. Well, I'll tell you what, Edward, that was a lot of fun, and this is a great Canadian story, and I'm really excited for you. For those listening, this is the AI Surge podcast, where we explore how AI is shaping industries and accelerating innovation. We just had a great chat. I'm your host, Surj Uppal, and I was joined by Edward Henry from Economics. That was wonderful, Edward. We'd love to reconnect and stay connected in the future. We'll be tracking your progress for sure. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having us on again. Thank you.